There is a growing tribe of people who are choosing real conversations over digital ones, and the psychology behind it is fascinating. After years of endless scrolling, AI chatbots, and algorithm-fed content, many are experiencing what researchers call digital fatigue. Our brains were not designed for all this constant synthetic stimulation. People joke that the movie WALL-E might be the most accurate depiction of robots and humankind in the future. But is it really a joke? Things are looking dire. However, it seems that people are now getting bored of living on their phones, and they are just not that impressed with online personas anymore. These individuals are recognizing something crucial. Authentic human interaction activates parts of our psychology that screens simply cannot reach. Eye contact, body language, spontaneous laughter, shared atmosphere. These aren't just nice bonuses, they're fundamental to our mental health and sense of belonging. Interestingly, it's Gen Z that's leading this shift. Having grown up entirely online, they are now the most vocal about phone-free gatherings and genuine connection. Research claims that people in their early 20s are now looking back on their school years and quickly realizing what a waste all those hours of scrolling were, how mentally exhausting it can be, and how many hours of real social contact was lost. What's so intriguing is that doing house parties where everyone's phones are left in a bucket at the door to encourage people to talk is also something that is quickly picking up popularity. It seems that they have seen firsthand how scrolling has replaced living, and they are choosing differently. As this awareness spreads, even millennials now have become reluctant to put an iPad in their children's hands and are more active in developing their relationship and exposure with the real world. Perhaps the most human thing we can do in an increasingly artificial world is to simply be present with each other. The question is, are we all brave enough to put down our devices and try? As mentioned before, an increasing number of people are, in fact, trying. This even includes those who crave real human connection, despite not being very well versed in the matters of socialization. Many report to have grown up on their own and without many friends, which left them in an awkward position as adults. But the thing is, when most of these people found themselves in positions of autonomy, or when they eventually gained their confidence, their first priority was to socialize and have real human interactions. That says something about how important this human need is to people, even those who grow up without experiencing it. A common strategy people use is that they tend to identify similarities with others and point them out, establishing rapport through small talk, which makes them seem more approachable. Having empathy, common ground, and mirroring behaviors are also things that work to form relationships. Then, on the other hand, there are others who have always enjoyed social interaction throughout their lives. Now, you might be wondering about the characteristics of such individuals. Most people who enjoy human interaction tend to be more extroverted, empathetic, and curious. This is not to say that introverted people do not ever crave human connection. In fact, research shows that even introverted people tend to enjoy human interaction deeply. It may be in small doses or in different settings, but even then, actual socialization is seen to be appreciated. While we do acknowledge that there are certain exceptions and outliers in this situation, that is, people who tend to prefer being alone, those who tend to prefer human interaction seem to outweigh them. Affiliation is a major concept in socialization. It is something everyone strives for, whether it is driven by ourselves or whether it is thrust upon us through the standards of culture. What you might not know about affiliation is that it has played a huge role in the history of our evolution. Since the beginning, human beings who were able to form strong bonds with each other were afforded the opportunity to be part of a group and have access to essential resources and protection. Being alone in the wilderness was a very dangerous thing, and living and hunting together kept so many alive. In other words, survival depended on socializing. Because of this, some believe we are programmed to crave a sense of belonging, because human beings are likely to survive in a group. Similarly, many people, even to this day, feel the need to belong somewhere as strongly and fundamentally as one would feel the need for food or water. This need for belonging is what encourages them to reach out to other people and build relationships with others. Surely, limiting yourself from actual, real human interaction or substituting it with something more digital will only fall short and not completely fulfill this sort of need. In fact, a lot of people agree that the internet is not bringing new people together as much as it is leaving people wanting more and never feeling satisfied. This leaves a lot to be desired for digital connections, and people who crave socialization have nothing else but to miss the feeling of sitting across from someone, sharing a meal, or simply enjoying their presence. This modern, more digitized social life of today's world is like modern food. The soil is lacking nutrients. How do we expect to get enriched by each other's presence if we're not even interacting in reality? Additionally, being with other humans is not only an evolutionary, but also a biological need for people. It has been shown time and time again that isolation causes actual harm to people, which is why solitary confinement is seen as cruel and unusual punishment that has lasting effects. You shouldn't stop the urge to communicate with people. You just need to find a way to do it that is healthy for you and the people around you. It may be true that you also need to spend quite a bit of time alone, thinking your thoughts and following the rabbit trails. But sometimes simply playing a board or video game with someone else can be all you need to reset and gain perspective on the things you have learned. Without it, we tend to lean toward self-centeredness and untethered self-indulgence. Which brings us to another very important reason why people love real human interaction. Research shows that people who have a stronger social background, or people who feel more integrated with others, tend to exhibit more self-worth and self-esteem. When socialization feeds a part of your soul so wholly, you begin to notice the manner in which you're receiving it. What a screen fails to show you in depth is the warmth of another person's presence. And that is particularly important when you're trying to forge connections with others. It makes sense that even if socialization itself is not what a person is craving, the self-worth and self-esteem attached to the concept is something people will certainly crave, as it personally provides them with something they need. Moreover, this connectedness and these feelings of self-esteem go on to make you more resilient to difficulties or concerns, such as declining health, physical or mental, and even depression. These reasons, whether we realize it or not, sway us towards people more than we would think.
You'll find a lot of psychologists might agree with this. Yes, therapy has become so much easier and accessible when done digitally. However, there are parts of the actual physical meeting of the client and the therapist that are difficult to beat, as this is where a lot of the initial assessment occurs. A significant portion of the mental status examination conducted by a therapist is done by observing the client throughout the session and assessing body language, clothing, and hygiene. All of that is only fully possible when the session takes place in real life. So, this may be an additional way in which restricting socialization can impact mental health. We're discovering that humans need genuine human connection to thrive psychologically. The patience these rehabilitators show, the deliberate choice to be fully present without imposing their human nature, reflects what we're slowly relearning in our digital age. Perhaps the greatest gift we can offer, whether to a baby crane or another human being, is our undivided attention. Not our filtered, curated selves, but our authentic presence. Because connection isn't about closeness or frequency, it's about showing up as genuinely ourselves, present and unguarded. Fostering this habit of truly being present might end up being a big reason that we thrive as a society, as well as individual.